What right do they have to withhold stuff from us? You know, we're his family.
They couldn't get answers, so they turned to News Channel 5 for help. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Inmates like Braylon Burnett have a constitutional right to health care. But this man's family believes he's gone today because that was ignored.
Well, they tell our Hannah McDonald he went 3 years without a potentially life-saving heart screen. Tonight, Hannah takes their concerns straight to Tennessee's Department of Correction.
He liked to eat and he liked to cook. I told him you should go to culinary school when you get out.
With support from his family, 22-year-old Braylon Burnett was making plans for after prison.
Riding motorcycles and wanting to eat some steak and shrimp fajitas and drinking a margarita because he never had one.
After nearly 5 years, most recently at Turner Center Industrial Complex in Hickman County, Braylon's sentence for drug offenses was set to end in November. But in early July, Braylon suddenly died.
The system just failed him.
When Braylon was 3 years old, he was diagnosed with a rare leukemia. Chemotherapy left him with long-term heart damage. Ultimately, he died from heart failure. While his family says the Tennessee Department of Correction knew he needed annual ultrasounds, his medical history made that clear. Doctors who treated him at the end of his life say he did not receive them.
At the hospital, they said that the last one he had was 3 years ago.
According to the department's website, their goal is to improve the health status of the inmate population. When I asked about health care for people with pre-existing conditions, a spokesperson told me they provide, quote, the required constitutional level of health and behavioral health care to all inmates.
With getting no information from them, we have no idea.
On July 5th, a Saturday, only hours after a visit with his dad, who asked us not to show his face out of respect for his emotions, Braylon was admitted to TriStar Centennial Hospital. The family was called Monday.
And then the social worker at the prison called and said, we need somebody to make life or death decisions for Braylon. And
we didn't even know things were that bad.
After only a little time by Braylon's side at the hospital, a nurse passed along a message from the warden.
And he said, this is the last medical report I can give you on Braylon. After this, I won't be able to talk any more about him to you. And I'm like, who? You know, of course you're not mad at them, but I'm thinking in my head, who says that? Who? You know, what right do they have to withhold stuff from us? You know, we're his family.
Braylon died later that day, with his family kept outside the room. When I learned how Braylon's family says they were treated in the hospital, I emailed TDOC's spokesperson asking who made that call and how this escalated so quickly.
Well, he had to die with a bunch of strangers around him, you know? That ain't fair.
And the nurses and doctors said they whispered in his ear, Braylon, your family's here, and they love you, you know, because they wanted him to know that we were still there.
Braylon was so loved by his family, that's clear. And they believe they deserved better.
I mean, sometimes you just have to use common sense and let us see him and let him have some peace.
With photojournalist Justice Kennedy, I'm Hannah McDonald reporting in Westmoreland.
We are still waiting to hear back from TDOC about what the policy is when an inmate is on their deathbed. As for Braylon's rapid decline, a spokesperson said they cannot comment on an individual inmate's medical care.